1974, and welcome everyone. So this is a story about Vermont. It's about a story about the university, and it really started with a lecture in the classroom by one of our esteemed professors, and it started a little spark, a little train of thought by a student in the class. And so I really want you to hang that storyline up in the air for a few minutes, because that story will be told by Josie Davis towards the end of the ribbon cutting ceremony. But this project is all about the students who got this project going. It was taken up by a community of like-minded individuals who work together on a common cause to make what you see here a reality. So this very much, I would say, typifies Vermont and what we are. And I would say it's absolutely fantastic that this array is being dedicated on the 150th anniversary of the passage of the Justin Morrill Act, the Land Grant Act. And this project is a shining example of what a land grant education is all about. It's about a broad training in the liberal arts, combined with an appreciation of both the theoretical and practical. And it's about applying knowledge and using that knowledge for service and the betterment of society. So I think the senator from Vermont, Justin Morrill, were he were with us today, he'd be very proud. So as we move through the 21st century, alternative energy must be part of our energy portfolio. And what better place to test and showcase this technology than the UVM farms? This marvelous project fits with our vision for these farm facilities, where new technologies are tested, applied, and incorporated into our educational mission. This array is an important first step in our vision to make these farm facilities energy neutral, or maybe even energy positive. This 32 kilowatt array generates enough electricity to support 5 to 6 houses, and we are well on our way to realizing our vision. This array is also an important first step in our plans to renovate and rebuild these facilities for teaching and research to meet the challenges of agriculture in the future, where renewable energy must be a major part of the equation of economic and environmental sustainability. So I would like to thank the programs and the forward-thinking individuals who made this project possible. First, the Clean Energy Fund. This is funded by UVM students. Without the $80,000 from this fund, this project wouldn't have gotten off the ground. The student who wrote the proposal, Rachel Cadwallader Sub, class of 2010, who's in the audience. Thank you, Rachel. Kirk Herender. Kirk took the initiative to apply for the incentive grant through the Clean Energy Development Fund, and Kirk's good work yielded $55,000 and allowed us to go from 80 panels in the original plan to 134. A very, very significant increase. The Clean Energy Development Fund, which made the incentive possible. This fund is housed in the Department of Public Service, and I would like to thank Commissioner Liz Miller for the enlightened public policy in her department and the programs in energy efficiency, conservation, and renewable energy that allowed us to significantly expand the scope of this project, allowing it to reach its full potential. Clark Hinsdale, president of the Vermont Farm Bureau and a leader in renewable energy on farms, for making the time to be part of this hallmark event. Thank you, Clark. David Arms, the alumni representative on the Clean Energy Fund, who really wanted this project to happen. So thank you, David, for keeping the project moving. And from UVM, I would like to thank Joya Thompson and Miyako Ozaki in the Office of Sustainability and their summer interns, Jack Lyrick, Kirsten Wall, and Rich Smith, and from Facilities Design and Construction, Todd Merchant and Michelle Smith. So with that, I would like to turn the podium over to Chuck Ross, Secretary of Agriculture, Food and Markets, and many thanks, Chuck, for taking time from your busy schedule to come to this event, and thank you for championing the importance of renewables in Vermont agriculture.
Important Chuck. Is that Liz has really demonstrated an incredible leadership and an understanding of the importance of ag and energy and the interface between the two. She and I are in the process right now of hiring a unique position as state government, a person that is actually going to report to both her department and my agency, and paid by both and work for both. And that person is going to be an agriculture energy person. and it's a demonstration of our joint commitment to the importance of these kinds of projects and in the future of agriculture and the future of energy. I also want to thank Joya. Joy and I have been working together for years. We first met when I was with Senator Leahy, and we were talking about how UVM can take a leadership position on all things in the sustainability world. And this again is another project where persistence and vision matter. And Joya, thank you for your enduring persistence and your vision. Clearly, folks like Josie and Rebecca and Tom deserve recognition. And Clark, I've been working with you ever since, what was that, 9th grade when we first met? So Clark Hinsdale, our president of the Farm Bureau, also holds the vision for agriculture and where it can go. I want to thank the university for its leadership. I want to thank the students in particular for their leadership in being the force behind this project. This is exactly the kind of thing we need universities like the University of Vermont and their students to take up and push. This kind of leadership is what we need in the field of agriculture, it's what we need in the field of energy, and it's what we need to bring them together, because the future, in my view, between agriculture and energy is rich. It's already happening, and there's plenty of growth to happen. We have experts on this campus, in this university. Andre Wright is one who's working in a different form of ag energy and biomethane digesters. Here we have an example of another form of energy on the farm. I want to thank the students in particular. You, the students, are the most important asset any university has. Your leadership, your activism, and activism is a form of leadership, is absolutely critical. Over my lifetime, there are many things that wouldn't have happened as soon as they did, but for student activism. And we've seen that at the University of Vermont, and I want to congratulate you, Rachel, and the many students that you represent for standing behind and pushing like crazy to make things like this happen on this campus. This is the leadership we need going into the future. And it's a future where energy and agriculture are going to be critical to your future, to my children's future, and to my grandchildren's future. If we can't figure out how to better optimize the interface between agriculture and energy, if we cannot figure out how to do energy better in this world, and how to do agriculture and food systems better in this world, by the time we get to 2050 and we have 9 billion people in this world, we're going to be in a bad spot. But this is the kind of vision and the kind of activism that gives me hope that we can meet the goals and the challenges of 2050. I think it's particularly interesting, Josie, that we're here with an ag, and I want to underscore the word ag, energy interface project at an equine operation. And Clark will appreciate this, as Clark and I cut our teeth together cutting hay, hailing from equine roots. Now Clark has moved on to dairy roots as well. But I've worked in the equine industry ever since I was almost too young to remember. And there has been a challenge thrown down from time to time that equine activities, well, they're not real agriculture. I want to just address that for a moment. We're standing here in an agricultural enterprise. Horses are livestock, but it goes way more than that. Let me just review for you the issues, the challenges, the lessons, the education that is cultivated around agricultural lessons in the equine industry. If you're going to be in the equine industry, you need to know animal care, nutrition, veterinary medicine, and reproduction. You need to know facilities management from mechanics to energy to and electrical systems. You need to know budgets, businesses, marketing, customers, and finance. You need to know environmental management, whether it's managing your manure or your water systems, all those interfaces with the environment, your nutrient management. You need to manage energy. These are integral skills to any agricultural operation, and the University of Vermont's engagement around the equine industry is completely legitimate and a completely agricultural focused activity. And I want to thank you for the leadership you demonstrate and the activities you orchestrate and the students that you bring into this industry, because they too are part of the agriculture industry. They support the agricultural base that we all depend upon, whether we're dairy farmers or vegetable farmers or poultry farmers. Second, and finally, I want to talk about the farms of the future, because we're standing before an example of the farms of the future. In my view, looking down the pipe of the 21st century, the farms of the future have to begin to reflect their surroundings. They have to emulate the ecological systems upon which we ultimately depend and which they are interfaced and engaged with. We need to make our farms much more ecologically sensitive and responsive going into the 21st century if we're going to be able to meet the needs and the challenges of the 21st century. We need to have the systems on our farms, whether they be the energy systems or the manure systems or the animal systems, be better integrated, reinforcing one another, and not be isolated pockets of activity. But we need to understand how it is that we feed our animals, how it is they are fed in a nutritious way, that the manure they generate actually becomes an input rather than a waste product for a whole other stream of activities that then is recycled back onto our soils where it all begins. If we don't begin to do a better job emulating and engaging our ecological systems on our farms, we're not going to be prepared for the challenges ahead. This operation here today, with the integration of the photovoltaic cells on their roof system, is an example of the kinds of things we need to do. And it's an example on a broad scale of ag and energy and what we can do. And it's an example here in Vermont about how to turn the many, many acres of roofs into assets of energy rather than just protections from rain and wind. This is the kind of innovative thinking that we need. It's the kind of place we can come to as farmers in Vermont to learn the lessons, to figure out how it's done, and actually see it. And I'll tell you, as an owner of, I don't want to guess how many square feet of roof in Heinsberg, Vermont, including an arena and a horse barn, I'm going to be studying what they've done here to figure out how I, too, can adopt this kind of technology and help fund some of my energy needs and maybe beyond on my farm. That's the kind of example we need. It's the kind of leadership the university and the students bring to the table. And I want to thank you, Josie, and the rest of the University of Vermont for all you do and all you've done and what you're going to do in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. UVM's Clean Energy Fund was designed to advance renewable energy research, education, and infrastructure on campus. It is funded through a $10 fee paid by all UVM students every semester. The Clean Energy Fund was created as a direct outgrowth of student advocacy for a greener, more efficient, and locally powered campus, and has been pursuing these objectives since its inception in 2008. I've been privileged to be a part of the Clean Energy Fund Committee since 2011. This Equine Center Photovoltaic Solar project advances Clean Energy Fund objectives in several ways. Not only does it significantly increase renewable energy infrastructure on the UVM campus, it also provides a visible statement about the commitment of UVM students to clean energy. In addition, this installation has created a wonderful opportunity for education and research on solar power at UVM, and the impressive work that a team of UVM interns contributed to this project over the summer is just the beginning. The Clean Energy Fund, along with the Vermont Small-Scale Renewable Energy Program, funded this project. Not only is the Clean Energy Fund sustained by student financial support, it directly involves students in the decision-making process. Of the 11 committee members, over half are UVM students, 4 undergraduate and 2 graduate. In addition, 2 students chair the committee. Students have therefore been involved with this particular green energy project from the very beginning, and we're very proud to see it reach completion today. The Clean Energy Fund is a young institution, but it's already making a clear contribution to the UVM campus and moving us closer to the student-driven vision articulated in its mission statement. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rebecca. I'll now turn the podium over to Josie Davis, and she's the Associate Dean in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, works primarily with students. And we'll turn the podium over to you, Josie, and tell us how this all got started.
Thank you. I would like to call the student up here that was really responsible for this project going forward. So Rachel Cadwallader-Staub, and I promised that she didn't have to say anything. So. The College of Ag and Life Sciences is known for its students engaging and learning outside the classroom. The story of Rachel Cadwallader-Staub's involvement in the Equine Solar project is not unique for our Cal students. In fact, she serves as a great example of the many well-informed, motivated Cal students who put their knowledge into actions in ways that make positive differences in our communities. The story began in the fall of 2009 when I gave a lecture titled Green Horsekeeping to the Equus class in which Rachel was enrolled. The talk kind of focused on ways which we could minimize the environmental impact of the animals on our environment. Also talked about some ways of introducing renewable energy initiatives in equine facilities. And one of my ending statements sort of lamented that when we built this beautiful arena, we really hadn't thought much about this spacious, amazing self-expansion and exposure of the roof, and thought about putting solar panels on at that time. But solar panels was still kind of in an infancy in terms of being put on farms and that sort of thing. So it was a goal for the future, really. So immediately following the class, Rachel came up to me and said, I've heard from another student about the Clean Energy Fund. Do you know anything about it? And I said, no, I don't. I've never heard of it. And she said that she had looked further into it and found out that it was a student-generated fund here at UVM, and it was directed to support renewable energy research, education, and infrastructure activities at UVM. So the program was in its first year, and she suggested that I should consider writing a CEF proposal, Clean Energy Fund proposal, for a solar array on this facility. And then she added, the deadline is Sunday. This conversation happened on a Monday, and I was due to go out of town that Wednesday to Springfield to Equine Affair, which, if any of you know the equine part of that, it lasts pretty much through the weekend. And I told her I couldn't possibly do it. She said, if you're game, I think I can do the legwork. And what we did before I left was we got the facility blueprints, we talked to a contractor, got all the names that we probably should be contacting and getting involved with, and I left. When I came back on Sunday, Rachel had compiled all the information needed, and she started to write a draft proposal. So Sunday, we spent a lot of time on the phone and on our computers, talking back and forth and editing, and we beat the deadline by an hour. So we were very excited about that. Rachel and I were thrilled when our proposal was chosen to be funded. But even more so today, as we see this project, our dream, completed. It has added meaning to both of us and to the college that student funds made this renewable energy initiative possible. We add our personal thanks to Kirk Horander and Vermont Solar for going the extra mile to help secure the state initiative funding from the Clean Energy Development Fund. This enabled us to realize more panels than we had originally asked for in the proposal. And just to tell you, this is not the end of the story. Rachel started a process that we hope will be the beginning of many more renewable initiatives for the farms here at UVM as we move forward to upgrade facilities. In fact, we have another CEF proposal that is in the pipeline in its first phase of funding. and just stay tuned for that one. I also want to tell you, and I'm not sure that Tom knew this, but Kirk Parenda is here, and he is willing to do a short, brief tour following this of the solar panels and the electrical part of it for any that are interested. So, Tom, I'll turn it back to you.